You think I know? You're all good?
Are we on? Okay. All right, good afternoon. Welcome, Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections, regular monthly meeting, October 14th. Time is 4:33 p.m. We are at 2555 Lexington Road in Athens, Georgia. First item on the agenda is to adopt it. Chair entertains a motion to adopt. Okay.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Till, to adopt, second, Ms. Fambro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, agenda is adopted. Next item on the agenda are the approval of minutes. Looks like there's one set of them. So the floor is open for a motion, or we can make an amendment to the meeting minutes. It is.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes from the September 9th meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
All right, motion, Mr. Shirley, second, Ms. Till. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the September 9th meeting, say aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment.
Thanks. I'm Jacqueline Elsner, 315 Caldwell Circle. I'm proud that we have such a good board of elections. Proud we have such good staff. So I'm confident our November public service election is going to go well. I'm very concerned about the Georgia elections and the health and integrity of our national elections. I think it's a very reasonable concern that as 2026 goes by, our elections would have some kind of military presence at polling places that would incredibly suppress the vote, that our statewide legislators would not find that such a terrible thing. And I'm gonna do what I can to speak up as a citizen and a voter, but this is not me just trying to act like, too scared to think about what's going on. This is real. I'm also very concerned that our statewide House of Representative people want to remove the ability of our Clarke County Commission to consider and approve our members of our Board of Election. That would be not a good plan. That our 4 Superior Court judges would be the decider. How come Clarke County? It's really suggestive right now. Anyway, I'm committed to making sure that the state I live in and the country I live in has free and fair elections. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next item is the director's report.
Okay, well, thank you, Chair Ruffle. Good afternoon, everybody. We'll start with the activity report for September. This month, we have a total of 80,301 voters, of which 72,314 are active and 7,987 of them are inactive. And we added 175 new voters in the month of September. For its total cancellations, we have 32 that moved out of state, 44 of them that was submitted through the jobs portal, 3 that requested other ways to be canceled, 62 were deceased and 91 were total felons. And that was a total cancellation of 232 cancellations. I had Audra on here to do the absentee and open records part. Well, here she comes. You want me to continue?
Yeah.
Okay. She has mailed 85 absentee ballots so far today. And we have had 2 open records requests. And so for its department focus, as we all know, Lisa Wheeler, last day was September 26th. She accepted another position in Gwinnett. And so far right now, we have our interim administrative assistant, Melissa Gogo, who's stepping in at the moment until we, fill that position, for our, administrative assistant. Also just want to let you know that they have posted the elections director position. The applications are currently being accepted. They still have one more week that they're accepting applications, so the deadline is next week for that. As far as the November and the general special election, it started today, 8 o'clock, the elections office. We have had so far, when I left the office, 102 voters, of which one of them was our chair,
Number 6.
number 6, he said. And then, also, I'm gonna skip to, SEB cases. We did go up to the, up to the state capitol on September 24th. As I sent out an email to you guys, all of the cases were issued a letter of instruction except for the case, 23-79 with the improper, absentee ballot, which we received a letter of reprimand for that one. Now, at this time, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna give this to Lisa, where she can talk about the, poll worker lunch, and she can talk about the poll worker total location update.
Okay. So I'll just give you a rundown. There is a paper in your packet called Analysis Poll Worker Lunch Service. We can go over the responses. So I sent out a survey as requested that we do, and I'm really glad we did because we received information back that was different than what we thought we were going to receive. So you can go over that. We sent the survey to 261 workers, 123 responded. 97% say that they order lunch on election day from us. And 3% of them never order lunch from us. 97 of the people that responded, or 78%, were very or somewhat satisfied with the meal. And only 8 people, 6%, were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with the meal. And then you can look over some of the responses from the survey. So some of the reasons listed that they decided not to order lunch from us. And remember, this is only, a small number of people who responded that way. So 7 and 3 and 1.
We have a musical interlude here. One moment.
Okay.
I hope everyone enjoyed.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay, so there were 11 people responded for reasons of why they don't order the lunch. And then a small number of people responded for reasons that they don't like the lunch. But what I want you to notice is only 8 people said they were dissatisfied with the lunch, but close to 30 responded for their reasons for dissatisfaction, which I thought was kind of funny. But their reasons for not liking the lunch were they're tired of the same restaurant, or they dislike the restaurant choice altogether, or the food is unappetizing when it's delivered. So when asked to choose between a meal on election day or a larger poll worker appreciation event, it was overwhelming that they had rather have the meal. And then on the back of the paper is just some comments and suggestions that were made along the way by people that decided to do more than just fill out the survey. And then from that, you guys can decide how we're gonna go forward with the poll worker lunches. I don't know if this is something you want to add to your agenda to talk about it under old business.
Do you need a decision on that? That you do, because, yeah, okay. Well, let's finish the report.
Yeah, we could just add under old business would be fine. And then the relocation of 7A is also on your agenda, so we could just go over at that time, everything at that time, because I provided you with a report that's everything that I would say about it. We can go over the points that you want to talk about.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Also, we have our pre-certification meeting that is scheduled for November the 7th at 3 p.m. And then the certification meeting will be the same day, November the 7th at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. And then also we would, need to get a vote review panelist recommendation, which I believe Melissa had sent out an email as far as that recommendation. So we need to receive that person who you will appoint as well. And then today we have our election tidbit that we would do today, a little 5 to 7 minute segment. And we would just like to introduce Miss Eliza Ward, who's going to talk a little bit about street information and redistricting.
All right, hello.
So I am Eliza. I'm an elections clerk, downtown, if any of y'all don't know me. And I am here to talk to you about our redistricting process and, what we do to ensure accurate street segments. Yes. Okay. Sorry, Ellen. So, your introduction to redistricting. When we say redistricting, we are talking about getting an entire list of every single address in all of Athens-Clarke County from the Planning and Zoning Department of Clarke County. And then we use that list of addresses to pick out ranges of addresses that have similar city, precinct, polling, location, district combo, and zip code, and we call those our street segments. When we put those into Jarvis, we compare it to the segments that are already on Jarvis, which is our voter registration system, and fix anything that doesn't match what we've picked out. When we write them out, the information that we need per street segment is the range of street numbers, the city and the zip code. We use our postal city for that. The precinct and district combo. The precinct is the polling locations, and the district combo is a 3-digit number that represents all of the different districts that that address belongs to, which is what determines what goes on people's ballots. So I've got a little example there of the different ranges, how it would look written out. We can also sort them by side. That makes our list of street segments a lot shorter. For example, if you have a street where one side of the road is in one precinct and the other side of the road is in a different precinct, then you can sort out the even numbers from the odd numbers and have 2 segments instead of jumping back and forth over and over and making a dozen of them. We have 2 municipalities within Athens-Clarke County. We have Winterville and Bogart. That is very important, like for this election that's coming up, we have some city council seats in Winterville, and we want to make sure that only Winter municipality people vote in that, and that all of them to vote in that. So the different steps that we take, identifying any addresses that need to be excluded, like the UGA classrooms, like businesses, government offices, police departments, things like that. Then we identify any differences between addresses that would lead to us needing to end a segment and start a new one, like city or zip code. We have a couple different cities, Athens, Winterville, Bogart, some of Hull, I believe, and Athens has several different zip codes. As you can see, I pulled a couple of examples. Any changes in precinct or district combo? We have a lot of different precincts. We don't want to overwhelm our polling locations by having someone go to a different precinct than what they need to be going to. And we do want to make sure everybody has the correct ballot, which for those district combos coming. And we have to remember to pick out those non-residential addresses so that nobody can even attempt to register there by mistake if they mistype something. This is what it looks like, sorting addresses by even and odd. All of these blue addresses are even, and that orange yellowy address is odd. They have different precincts and district combos. So instead of having 3 segments, you only have 2 because I can lump all those even numbers together. So when you actually put all those steps together, this is what it looks like. Starting with identifying non-residential addresses. This is what I actually do. I make them bright red, so I know exactly where they are. Changes in city or zip code. We've got a couple little Winterville addresses right in there with a different zip code. Changes in precinct and district combo. All of the 4A 302 are green. All of the 1A 283 are orange. And you can see it lines up really well with the Winterville address. So most of the green addresses are even numbered houses. All of the orange addresses are odd. And the way that that looks is that these top 2 can be grouped together because they're the same precinct and district combo. But the other ones cannot. For example, these Winterville addresses are part of the even numbered green addresses. And they would be grouped together separately. When you actually look at that, you've got 980 and 985 put together. You can group those together because they're both in 4A 302. You can put every single odd number together because there's nothing interrupting them. And that would be 1053 all the way down to 1265. These even numbers can go together because they are all in Athens 30605. And this is actually all 1250. There's just several listings for it. And that would be separated from the Athens 4A 302 numbers because that's in Winterville. This is an example of how much more complicated it can be and why it's such a vigorous process, such a difficult process. This is Lexington Road. I personally did a lot of work on Lexington Road. You can see all the different colors. I won't make you watch me, but I will show you the stats. There are 5 different precincts, 6 different district combos, 2 different zip codes, and that over 60 number, I got about halfway through that list and stopped counting because 60 is pretty big already. These are my segments that I wrote out. You can see all the notes and things, and that's because Athens-Clarke County is constantly growing, constantly changing, and will not stop building new apartment complexes. So you can see right across the road, we have an apartment complex that went up recently, and I had to add that in here because I did not know that it was there originally. So far, Lexington Road has 59 street segments that I had to go into Jarvis and check against what was already there and make sure that everybody was going to vote in the correct place and that they would get the correct ballot. And this is how that looks in Jarvis. I picked Sagewood Drive because there are only 4 segments there. And you can see that there is no overlap in those numbers. That is on purpose. If I'm registering a voter to 165 Sagewood Drive, there's only one option I can pick, and I can feel secure in that being the correct choice because of the steps that we take to ensure that. And that's it. Did y'all have any questions?
They're like, thank goodness I don't.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you're there.
Thank you, Raj. That was good.
Adam had one question.
I have a question about, so this, just to be clear, I mean, whichever one you use it, how you want to. So this happens, changes need to be made whenever new buildings go up, but anytime districts change, just to be sure I'm clear on this, like when every 10 years, that's when all that stuff is potentially up for grabs again, and has to go back.
Yes.
Look at it
And
again.
that's what triggered our most recent redistricting is the census.
Right?
But because we've had so many new buildings and new apartment complexes and things pop up, it's kind of a constant project.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so then, also, when we chose to redraw the precinct lines.
Yeah.
This, I'm just making sure I'm clear about what triggers this. And so that is, like, you gave us a little snapshot of what takes, how many people do we have, besides you, how many of the folks work on this when it's time for big things like that? Does everyone
We
jump
all
in and do it?
We,
Right.
we do all jump in on it
Right.
sometimes, but it is a very technical, very specific process. And so it's not something that we can easily loop our newer
Right,
employees into.
right.
And it also takes a lot of research. If you hit an address that, you know, is new and doesn't show up, then we have to click through and research to make sure that it's a real home and, you know, contact planning and zoning.
And and again, I'm saying this mostly so I can remember this later on. Anytime a Board of Elections talks about, hey, let's redraw some precincts. This is what flashes through your mind. You think, okay, but maybe not do it lightly. And so, and every 10 years, this comes up. So you're bracing yourselves for commission lines to change and house lines to change, things like that. Gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow. Thank y'all for doing this. This is, for showing us this because, man.
Yes.
How often do you get notices from the planning? Like, you know,
They
how often?
have made us a tool where when new addresses are made, it goes into their map and I can then go into that map and sort it by newest added and then find them and work them into the street segments
Oh,
myself.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's,
So that's an ongoing informational kind of thing. You have to check it every day, I bet.
every once in a while, agree. Yeah.
We try to like do a maintenance, keep it like on a monthly
Yeah.
basis, right?
Yeah.
So how does that, mesh with the postal service? That doesn't even enter into it, does it?
It does help with this, what we put into Jarvis, it's actually under Postal City, which
Okay.
has to do with what, I believe it's where their mail is processed, is the Postal City. So we do have people who are listed in Winterville that live in Athens, but they're so close to Winterville that their mail goes there first.
Mhm.
So we do collect a good amount of data from the postal office as well.
Yeah, they have the address management system, which does all of the addresses in the zip codes, in the Athens zip codes. And they go around twice a year. They have two people, one for the west side, one for the east side, and they go around at least twice a year to make sure the addresses are lining up. And sometimes when you're out there, the post office people will actually see new things going up. So they do their searches and changes quite often.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But that's all we have for our update today. Are there any other questions or comments?
No, we'll just come back to 7A.
Yes.
Lunch thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you say that louder so everyone can hear?
Sorry. Mr. Chair, I move that we amend the agenda to include under old business, item 2, poll worker lunches.
Sure. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Vanderburg.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Shirley, second by Ms. Fambro. All those in favor of amending the agenda to include poll worker lunches under old business, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Agenda is amended. Moving on. Old business. Discussion of 2026 permanent change to 7A polling place.
Oh,
Yeah,
I hope that everybody read.
did. I even provided you comments.
I read them and cycled as well. Is there anything that you want me to go over in detail?
Well,
How much of you, just do you want me to go over out loud?
What I gained from this is your it wasn't clear what your recommendation was, or perhaps I didn't read it
Well,
clearly. Sure.
I think our recommendation would be to consolidate 7A and 7B at the library.
Okay, that's what I gathered from this.
Yeah.
But
But I wanted you to understand why, and then it's your ultimate decision, so I didn't want to say. this is
Sure.
what we want to do.
yeah, why don't you go over this summary? Has everyone looked it
I
over,
read it.
over the summary section? We'll go.
Okay. So just read the bullet points for the
Yeah, I
summary.
mean, you can just, you don't have to read it word for word, just, you know all this info, you made it, so.
Okay, all right, so on October 3rd, Pam and I went to visit the staff at Betty Holston Elementary. And after speaking with Dr. James and the assistant principal, Mr. Matthews, for quite a while, it's determined that the parking there is really crowded and inadequate near the exterior entrance of the library, which is the room that was identified that we would probably use. The nearest exterior doors lead into the bus route, which is never a good situation at the school. Parking is very strained during school events, and they have their moving up ceremony scheduled on the same day as the May 19th election in 2026. And they said that they're overwhelmed with parents on moving up day. All right.
Side note, what about our other multiple elementaries? Is
Some of them are the same way, but their parking situations are not like this, like it is at this school. So parking is a large concern. There's really no space left for voters. Like Ms. Willow pointed out at our last meeting, this is on a really busy corner. There's two shopping centers adjacent to the school. There's another school right behind it, and there's the library, there's the hospital. So there's, and sometimes, occasionally, there are protests that are going on the corner. There's certain groups that use it for their civic activities. So it creates quite a traffic jam, and then to add the voters into that might not be such a good idea. So those are the main things. And then the principal was talking about, she was having a really difficult time trying to figure out how to separate the flow of the students from the voting public if we use the library. I'm sure she would find a way if we told her she had to, but it would be difficult for her to do that. So those are the main things about Betty Holston. Well, the other one is that all of the room options, including the library, are kind of crowded with all furniture and immovable type stuff in them already.
This is school library.
Yes.
The school library. Yeah, this is the library. So it would be interesting to try to use those rooms. So our evaluation of Betty Holston Elementary is that it would create a potential undue hardship to the school administration and disruption to the students, and parking and heavy traffic at the site make it less than optimal.
And it's also out of precinct anyway, right?
It's out of precinct. Everything that we're looking at right now is out of precinct, but the precinct is actually just on the other side of Alps Road, kind of behind the Beechwood Shopping Center. And it does come up to Alps Road at a couple of points, just, so it's really close. It's just right there. Okay, so the other recommendation is continuing to consolidate 7A and 7B at the library. That's worked well so far for June and July. We're gonna do this again for November. There haven't been any complaints from the public. No one's called and said that they didn't like to go there. Of course, these are small elections, so that may be why, but it hasn't been a problem so far. So some information that I gave you just so that you would understand what you're looking at. If we consolidate, currently there's a total of 6,368 active voters that would be at that location. That would be voting at that location. And our next largest precinct serves 4,500. So it will be quite a bit larger than what we normally do. The highest total election day turnout for the two precincts was the November 2022 general election. So between 7A and 7B at their separate locations, they had 1,165 people come out to vote. So if that actually happened in one location on election day, I still feel like that they could process that volume, because the highest number of voters that the libraries processed during advance voting in 2 less hours than election day was 1,257. So that gives us a little leeway. There's 2 extra hours to process everybody. And we did some kind of just some work with a capacity tool that helps us figure out wait times. And so we determined if we put 18 ballot marking devices, 5 poll pads, 2 scanners, and 12 poll workers in the library, that we will keep our line under 30 minutes long. So that's why we're recommending the library. It is out of precinct, but just, it's not very far out of precinct. And we feel like that it'll be able to handle the voters. You can evaluate again at the end of, I meant to say end of 2026, not 2025, but at the end of 2026 to determine if there has been an increase or decrease in active voters in that precinct, if you want to make a change then. And then we'll have some recorded wait times to go by and see how this actually worked. And we can gauge the community's response. We have 2 other options that could be on the table, but they're both private facilities. There are 2 more churches that we've reached out to. There is Alps Road Presbyterian Church. They will not be able to get back to us until sometime mid-November. Their pastor is out for personal reasons, and they said they wouldn't be able to meet with us until he came back. Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, we've also reached out to them and are awaiting when they might want to meet with us. Mount Pleasant is on Hawthorne, just kind of, you know where that is?
It's on the corner.
Almost corner, just right up the road from the corner of Alps and Hawthorne Broad.
Oh, right, there we go. Yep.
It's, Brookside almost.
There we go.
And
Yep.
Alps Road Presbyterian is just
Just down
like a football field down from Betty Holston Elementary across the street.
here between them.
Okay,
But if you had rather that we be in a public building and not pursue the private buildings, then we can just go with the consolidation.
then the work's already done. If we were to select the library and keep it as is there additional notices and
Yeah.
things we need to do
Yeah, I
to make
outlined
it permanent?
I outlined those for you under requirements. It's the list of what we would need to do, but once you vote that that's what you want to do, we have plenty of time to do it. The first thing, you would need to vote on a permanent decision or a decision at your December 9th board meeting, and then we can
Got it.
start doing all of the notices and the reports that we need to do early next year.
Sure.
There's nothing permanent that we do.
True.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
make your most recent decision.
All right, well,
Do you want to vote on the library, or do you want to wait to vote a little bit longer?
let's see. Questions? Go ahead.
Anyone want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Once upon a time, there was, I think when the B and Bs first came out, there was that law about on election day, we had to have the ratio, 250 voters per machine with some exceptions. Is that still a thing, or do they do away with
Not
that?
in play
So
anymore.
we, good, okay, got it. So we can trust our numbers on actual turnout. Got it, okay. Clarke Middle School being right next to the library, why is that not being considered as an option?
It's my own opinion, you might have a different opinion, that it would be very confusing for the voters to have 2 locations that nothing separates them, they're back to back.
Gotcha, okay. So besides that though, there are no other red flags. I'm trying to think like parking, access.
We haven't gone there, so we haven't talked to anybody yet, so I don't really know, but
Gotcha,
just looking at the building, I would say there's not anything to keep us from it,
okay,
except for the same traffic patterns that are a problem at Betty Holston.
right, right.
Yeah.
So then my last question, for this chunk here is, I'm wondering, with them being so close together, and I kind of floated this last time, and I understand if you haven't had a chance to look into this, but could both the library and Clarke Middle be 7A, 7B to alleviate? I know it seems like the library's fine for the flow, but we don't need to.
I don't
Need to, you're saying the
Gordon
library's
would have to
fine.
help us research the law, but I don't think that a polling location, I'm just thinking about how it would be done in our election management system and in Jarvis. I'm not sure how you would list that a voter can go to 2 places.
Gotcha.
I think that would be even more confusing.
Okay.
Well, we
Just,
did,
yeah.
I have reached out to the Secretary of State's office to inquire about that, and they were saying that it was no way possible.
Got it. Okay, great. Understood. Thank you.
With the
Yeah,
traffic,
the code, everywhere in the code, it doesn't explicitly have a rule necessarily about that, but it always talks about the polling location in the precinct. It always talks about a singular polling location.
Understood? Thank you.
and the traffic, I think, I think the traffic flow will be better if you have people going to one place. Cause what happens is if you got another place, everybody trying to get out, it's two separate. Traffic flow trying to get out, so I think that will be a real problem.
Okay,
That's what I think.
And Chair Ruffalo, also, when I had spoke to the, Secretary of State South, that they was recommending if we had to merge 7A, the two locations together, that the thing that maybe would decrease the election day process is to maybe add another advanced voting location, That's what they recommended,
I wasn't prepared for that today. We gotta get Brent up for that.
Yeah, I think that
Take the
recommendation
anxiety meds, people.
was that the polling location would be somewhere within the advanced voting location would be somewhere within the boundaries or right outside the boundaries of 7A, but the library already is, so I don't know how that would.
The only question I had was, I didn't keep up with it, but supposedly there were some kind of state thing that in the My Voter page, if you were an inactive voter, that they were gonna drop people from the registration, that's not it? Okay, so when you were looking at mailing out, the cost of, sending out cards, what was that? What was that?
I didn't calculate the entire cost, but it would just be the cost of postage times. You would need to do the active and inactive, I think, for the entire precinct like we've done before.
Was there a difference between inactive and active voters, or you would have to send it out to everybody?
I think in this case, you should send it to everybody because someone might decide that this is the election that they're going to go vote.
Because they are registered. Okay.
I mean, that's an extra precaution we can take.
That old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we've discussed how voters seem to favor voting at the library. They know where it is, it's central. I think what you've done and you've laid out for us is that it's best just to leave it alone.
Okay,
We don't need to confuse voting.
with that, would you like to make a motion?
I make the motion.
Okay. Would you read the motion back to us?
Motion
Secretary.
by Ms. Hill, period. Sorry, one moment.
Handwritten.
While you're looking for that, can I tell you one thing that, as I was looking through the code?
Please.
There is a, Attorney General's opinion that says that you cannot have more than one polling location within that precinct. So just for future
Wait,
reference.
wait.
What?
Hang on.
No, that's not about a consolidated.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Got it, okay.
your question. Can you have two places to vote within a singular precinct?
I'm curious about the wording here for this, about the polling precinct. Is it better from the law perspective to talk about consolidating 7A with 7B, or just to move 7A to the library and don't mention that it's already 7B, just for the purposes of what we're doing here?
I think for the purposes of, at least for the notice and things like that, it talks about moving the polling location into it. I would just call it moving.
Thank
Yeah,
No.
as opposed to consolidation.
Right, thank you.
I remember, could be wrong, anytime we've moved precincts or lines, Judd or Sherry had brought, and perhaps you, like a resolution, and there was a few documents we voted on and signed. One was to do something else.
I think that was
Speaking- yeah.
I think that was for changing precinct lines. Is that correct?
Yeah, but
I don't think it was for adding a polling location or changing a polling location.
but would the line just go away and it would become?
No, it still exists as a precinct.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a polling location. Because you guys tell me from.
Yeah, it's just their polling location would be out of the
Okay.
precinct.
I just recall.
No, I
Other
remember that.
documents.
Yeah.
But if the vote in the motion is sufficient, then I trust your advice.
Thank you.
I have a question. Well, I'm sorry. So I have a motion by Ms. Till, and I elaborated here, correct me, to move the polling location for 7A to the Athens-Clarke County Library, 2025 Baxter Street, for all 2026 elections. That last part, I just assumed that's what you mean. For the whole kit and caboodle, or just for May?
You're make sure
Indefinite.
that,
Just for May or for all?
Indefinitely.
Just, okay.
Just
And
delete the sentence.
All right.
until further notice.
All
Okay,
right, I have a motion by Ms. Till to move the polling location for 7A to the Athens-Clarke County Library, 2025 Baxter Street.
do we have a
If
second?
you wanted to, you could set a threshold of when we reach this many voters, this many active voters, we will reevaluate. That may be too complicated.
Well, we've been advised, there's
Would
no
watch or
ifs.
something like that. I would say when it's effective. This is
Okay.
for the November
Ah,
election.
right. Well. it
Can
is.
be.
Yeah.
I mean, it already is, but.
Right.
Yeah, for the purposes of.
Understood,
change.
understood.
Because y'all are still in this sort of,
Emergency,
right.
gotcha. So would that
Effective
be
January
May 26th? Election?
January 1,
It's the May election, would be the first one held, right?
Yeah, yeah.
effective January 1, effective May 2026, but advanced voting,
Right,
never mind, it's different. It's effective May 2026,
I mean,
effective for the May 2026 election.
effective for the May 26th. So I have a motion by Ms. Till to move the polling location for 7A to the Athens-Clarke County Library, 2025 Baxter Street, effective for the May 2026 election.
Do we have a
But
second?
effective beginning with the May 2026.
Right, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yep.
thank you, thank you.
Do we have a second?
Nice.
Been quick.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Oh, just right back.
Either one.
Lisa Riley.
Got it. And just to be clear, because that was a very important point, motion by Ms. Till to move the polling location for 7A to the Athens-Clarke County Library, 2025 Baxter Street, effective beginning the May 2026 election. Be sure that's what we all heard.
Yes. All right, motion on the floor, we have a second, all those in favor say aye. Okay, any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving on. Let's talk about lunch. All right, full worker lunch. Floor is open.
Yeah, it sure is helpful. Only half of them responded though, but it's still a bunch that responded,
I'm really happy with how many people responded.
right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
They won't even.
I would be curious to know what staff would like to do, because I know what, I imagine from what they've told us.
You already know what they want.
Well, but I mean, like, it sounds like it would be, if there were a way to keep the poll workers happy, but have staff not have to fool with this anymore, right, that way no one's delivering lunches, no
Do you
one.
have an idea?
I don't, I'm just curious, I'm asking y'all.
Sounds like Congress.
Before we ask them.
Sounds like
I'm
Congress.
gonna throw this kid in, I think we killed that horse. We're just beating it up, I mean, we went through it, we went around it, we went over it.
Under it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, if I won't discuss it, I'm here, but.
Boxes of cereal.
However, I do like the pizza option. So my thought is, could the polling manager or the precinct manager decide pizza or Chick-fil-A?
You want to tell us where we're at to it now, for November? Or do you want me to?
For November, we are, upon your consent, we're planning to do Chick-fil-A with more options. Because that was one of the suggestions to do, if we had more options than what they had available. And then, I guess you are aware of this, I had one of the poll workers to come to me and they were suggesting that maybe a poll worker could go and get their lunches, well, no, they can't, they can't. Never mind. I said,
But sure enough, like, what I mean is, if y'all wanna keep doing what you've been doing, I support you entirely. But data here shows that there are some people that are not happy, you can't please all the folks all the time, we've heard them. So, but if y'all wanna do something different while we're looking at this, I'm completely.
Well, I was thinking about, she said rotating it too, like, this election, we did Chick-fil-A, and the next election, then we'll do pizza, so it won't be. It's exactly. It'll be, they have, some variety, not a whole lot of variety, but, it won't be Chick-fil-A every election.
Yeah, and then, fried versus a salad. I go with the salad. We've got options,
Yeah, you can get a salad with grilled chicken
Because I
or
think
whatever.
one of the major things was that people felt like, I don't like soggy bread, had a lot of complaints about soggy bread. So if they get a salad, I think things will just calm down and smooth out.
So I'm,
Melissa has something.
I've been doing the research on the food. So what I've discovered, at least for November, since we're sticking with Chick-fil-A, knowing that they can do the quantity and number of delivery locations that are needed. Those box lunches, salads are not an option. So,
Let's talk about
what is an option is, wraps. And the wraps are served cold, which means you don't get soggy bread, you don't get a sandwich that was supposed to be hot, but you're the last lunch shift, and now your sandwich is cold. And they have a vegetarian wrap, they have a spicy wrap, and they have a regular wrap. Also of note though, the wraps are more expensive than your standard Chick-fil-A sandwiches. So there's some pros and cons there. Poll workers might be happier with the wraps, but our budget will take a hit.
How much of a hit per?
It would be closer to $15 per box rather than $12, $13 per box. So multiplied by the number of folks we've got on election day.
I'm sorry, the numbers again, how much per box?
15 per box for the wraps, and it's 12 or 13 for the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you send them like a form or like a Google form and they just,
Well, safe to say, we gather it all from the managers and then I get the orders back to Melissa and she'll order them.
but if it's a Google form, it's all
Yeah,
put in for you.
I was gonna pitch that to you.
Okay.
Microsoft Forms or whatever the county uses, there's,
Mhm.
yeah, and then subtotal and. you know.
What about 200 poll workers? Which 160?
Everybody wouldn't get wraps done.
That's true.
Probably just the people that complain.
All right, would you like us to move something and resolve something, or like, how can we help?
I don't,
Okay.
I
Right,
think
what I-
the original question was, should we continue to do it? And it looks like we should, so I'm not really sure there's anything to vote on. We'll just go by the results from the survey and try to provide them some different options. Go forward.
Okay,
Some people, as you said, some people may go for the Chick-fil-A sandwich and others might go for the wrap. So there's a variance in the price, might come out, not overly,
$14 per person, between 15 and 14.
okay,
Sounds good.
moving on, it looks like we have no new business, although we do have the vote review panel, which is not business per se, but we should probably sort that out. So, I apologize, I did not read your email thoroughly. What do we need?
We need a vote review panel for every election due to the makeup of this election. We need one of y'all or a nominee to represent y'all on this panel.
Ms. Elsner, you better leave the room.
In addition, there would be, one appointee from the Democratic Party of Clarke County, one appointee from the Republican Party of Clarke County, and 2 appointees by a judge, county judge,
Okay.
Superior Court judge, from the municipality of the local election, so from the municipality of
So we
Winterville.
need to select one person, and then I will follow up with my party, and assume you will do the same to get a record, well, that's
Well,
between you.
I've emailed your party heads already, so they
Okay,
know.
great, I'll follow up with mine, but, if it's okay with Ms. Elsner, would you like to represent the board on the vote review panel? Okay, there we go. Can we get her an extra Chick-fil-A sandwich?
The vote review panel is included, it wouldn't be Chick-fil-A, but the evening catering,
Okay.
when we're all counting things.
Yes.
So you will get dinner.
We don't need to make a motion on that, correct? We just, okay, well, with that, we'll move on.
Well, how do you know who's from Winterville? We don't have to worry about that, right? I don't know
The
any people.
Superior Court judge takes care of it.
Superior, okay, so we don't have to know anybody. Okay.
And sometimes we do a larger panel, if it's a larger election,
Like,
multiple
next year.
people, and they come on different days.
Okay.
Okay, would you like to read the announcements, please?
Sure. November 11th, 4:30 PM.
No, it is not November, it's November 4th.
Thank you.
On election day? Okay.
November.
So November the 4th, 4:30 PM, 2555 Lexington Road, the November regular meeting.
Well, hold on.
There's,
In January of 2025, we set the calendar.
and it's on the board.
It's on the calendar for the 4th. Oh, because this is a special.
No, there's a holiday or something on the 11th. There's some reason it was moved, but I don't know. Without looking at the calendar.
It is.
It's Veterans Day.
And then I also, per the director's report, November the 7th at 5:30 PM will be the certification meeting. Is that correct? Okay, and then where, will that be here, I assume? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Pre-certification at 3,
Okay,
certification
at
at 5:30.
5:30.
Would, folks be interested in canceling the regular meeting on the 4th? Board members? Okay,
Can you do that?
yes, you can.
We're,
I mean, is that cause a problem?
Nope.
I figured
As
you'd
long as
like
there's
that.
nothing.
I will still have
hey.
Well, I think so. We should still have our special call meeting, but the regular meeting will be canceled. That way we don't have to go through the cancellation report and the minutes and that kind of
We
thing.
can just send those to you for a month, for that month to kind
Let's just include them in December.
of, okay.
I think that's probably a better way to do that.
So there's a couple things happening at once. Am I
Yeah.
correct that November the 7th at 5:30 PM right here is the special meeting to certify the November election results?
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay, 3 PM pre-certification meeting where?
here.
Thank you. So at 3 PM, November the 7th, 2555 Lexington Road will be a special meeting, well, a pre-certification meeting. Now, where would we decide about the 4th? What was decided?
And when you get finished, would you read that all back
I'm happy
at
with it.
one flip?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm proposing we cancel the November 4th meeting, regular meeting, and still hold our special call meeting on the 4th,
At what time?
4:30.
At 4:30.
That's what I'm proposing and dictating. The thoughts?
If staff does not feel that we have any pressing things on the agenda and we don't feel like we have something of our own, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right. What were you gonna say?
No, I mean, like next year, obviously, it'll be a different story, bigger election day, maybe
Sure.
we need for a check-in, but yeah, this election not being as large.
But before you read that, as I understand, November 4th, 4:30, special call meeting.
Is gone.
It is not, no, this regular call meeting is gone, because they both fall on the same day. That's what we're talking about here.
Oh, so we're still okay,
Still meet, still have the special meeting, but then we don't need to go through the director's report and the cancellation and approval of minutes and all that other stuff. It's
I see.
save some time. We have other things to do on election.
Okay.
Do you have to do, well, we can ask that later. Do we have to do anything special to change it to a special call meeting?
How does that work?
Well, I think you would just publish the agenda, and then do you publish a meeting cancellation as well?
Is it already up on the calendar? Just remove it.
And add it back as a special?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
makes a
fine.
lot of sense.
Yeah, this past,
So it's an election day check-in still,
Yeah.
instead of,
Always done.
I see, thank you, I understand now. That sounds good to me. Still meet on election day, just not for this.
Just for 10 minutes instead of an hour and a half or whatever.
So would that be at 4:30?
So to us, it'd feel the same,
Okay.
showing up for a meeting, but it would not be as many things on the agenda, just a check-in, the polling
Okay.
places. Which sounds good to me, it's good, yeah.
Works for me. Bill?
I'm waiting to hear it all worked out,
Okay,
Shall I?
sorted out.
please.
All right, so then what I currently have now is for the, November the 4th at 4:30 PM, 2555 Lexington Road, a special called meeting for an election day check-in. November the 7th, 2555 Lexington Road, 3 PM, pre-certification meeting. 5:30 PM, special meeting to certify the November election results.
I'm not here,
We'll call you.
call me.
Okay. You live close. All right. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Fambro, second, Ms. Till, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5:29, under the weather.
Are we clear, Ms. Melissa?
I don't, I think I.
Sorry, I was getting.